Hello, everyone say a nice big hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hail.
Hail, Caesar. Hail. Sleet, snow, rain the lot. Now, my name is David Postansky, and welcome to the Geek Battle Show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes YouTube channel. My camera is still weirdly zoomed in. I didn't do that. I'm quite a distance. Look, I can't even touch my camera from where I am, but it's super zoomed in. Now, on the show tonight, we're going to be discussing all kinds of things. We'll be playing some games. There'll be some quizzes. There'll be some improv. There'll be some guessing games. Possibly so much more. But we'll draw them out. We'll draw lots and figure out who is going to be this week's Geek of the Week. Because basically, at this stage, we may as well do it that way. Capelthave, say hello to the people and give us a random geek fact.
Hail, my Geektonian, sailing from the land of leopards, crocodiles, and elephants. And today I bring to you a mythology fact. Ooh, I know. But still, hear me out. So, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor's Mjolnir works by worthiness. But in mythology, it doesn't. In mythology, it's very simple. It's really heavy. So the dwarves made a hammer that is really, really, really heavy. And also Loki messed it up and the pommel got too short. And no one else could lift it except for Thor. But even him couldn't actually lift it by himself. So the dwarves made him gloves. He uses that to lift Mjolnir, but even still, no god was truly strong enough to lift Mjolnir. Except for Thor's son, Magni. He was the only god who was able to lift Mjolnir without any other attachments. So after Ragnarok, he's the one who inherits the hammer.
Well, there you go. I was thinking throughout most of that. It's like, I don't know how you managed to keep sneaking these mythology facts into this show, which is just meant to be about, like, Spider-Man.
I will turn you into a pagan!
And men, basically, I just want to hear about, like, men dressed in spandex, Cap. That's, Right. Bonus point. Right, Jimmy Mack, say hello to the people and tell us something.
Hey everybody, I'm Jimmy Mack. I'm here in Los Angeles. In mythology, Excalibur is based on worthiness, whether you can pull it out of the stone. But at Disneyland, it's just a switch that the employees can pull to let a kid pull it out.
What?
And have a good day. Yeah.
You mean you can pull it out? Because I tried and I literally couldn't.
Most people can't. I don't know how many times they let a kid pull it out. Maybe it is based on worthiness. Maybe the Disney employees know more than we do. But I'm pretty sure that it's just like maybe once a day.
What if Thor Bjornsson goes to that sword and tries with all his might to pull it out?
Thor who?
Thor Bjornsson, the guy who played the Mountain in the Game of Thrones. He's a powerlifter.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were trying to say Thor Odinson, but throwing, like, weird other mythology behind it, so I didn't know what the hell you were saying. I'm sorry, man, that's my bad.
Wow. No, okay. I'm going to give a bonus point there as well, Jimmy Mack. That's interesting. I did not know at Disneyland. I did see that someone a few years ago managed to get Excalibur out, but I thought literally they'd just broken it. And I was like, oh, wow, they finally did it. I didn't know that they...
No, and again, I don't know how often it happens, but they just occasionally let a kid pull it out.
Like, whenever there's a power cut and the electromagnetic field drops, it's just like, if I pulled it out, I'd be like, I'm keeping it. It's mine now.
Run past security.
Yeah, I'd be like, I've got a sword, You take it from me, I'm going to be...
Pulling swords out of stones is no basis for a system of government.
To be honest, though, I think it should be.
That's how they're...
Normally, I don't get political on any of these shows. I don't get political, but damn it, whoever can pull a sword out of like a solid stone, they're the person that I'm going to follow, their lead.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy, you just questioned their birth of origin. I mean, their country is literally built up on that legend.
Yeah. In fact, like, would I be following their lead because they're, like, so strong that, wow, I must follow them? Or it's like, shit, they're so strong, I'm not going to mess with them. I don't know.
Or it's like, oh my god, he's awesome, I'm going to have him in his parties. That's a neat trick.
It is. Right, but how many times do you have to do it? Like, every time it's a party, pull the sword out the stone. It's like, come on, guys, again.
Who put that back in there?
Yeah,
Come
it's
on.
like, oh, no. Right. Okay. So, on that note, look, we were, as we sometimes do, talking the most interesting stuff before the show went on live on air. I think we started with Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. We'll get to some games and stuff, but let's react to some stuff that's going on. Now, who is still watching The Ring of Power?
May I quote Garth from Wayne's World?
By all means.
Yeah, it sucks.
The thing that's so funny, though...
I can tell you how bad it does, because that's why I'm watching it.
Well, I think I've seen every episode, and I'll be honest, I can't really tell you what it's about. I know that...
Neither do the writers.
But, like,
Neither
I
do the
know
writers.
that they're, like, the elves are apparently going to die unless they get the mithril. And it's so ironic, because me is not thrilled by this story. But...
And that's a thing that they made up. That's not a real thing. That's not a real thing in the books.
No,
They just
apparently
made
none
that
of
up.
it's... Like, and here's the thing.
Wait, they talked about mithril in the Peter Jackson.
Mithril is not supposed to grant elves the... Sorry, I got a phone.
Well, it's just a really strong, like, lightweight armor, right?
Yeah, but in here, that's like the light that's going to help the elves stay immortal, which is not a thing. Elves are immortal on their own. They don't need mithril to stay immortal.
I love that you're saying that's not a real thing. In real life, elves stay immortal without mithril.
Yeah, but, like... So anyway, so I know that's a story, and I've just about gathered that that's happening, but I don't even think it's, like, the main story. I also became aware, like, and perhaps it's just because this is, like, drifting me off to sleep, I'm not super taking it in. But suddenly there was, like, they said a character's name. I was like, oh, he's Isildur. And it's like, Isildur's a character in this. And I'm like, okay, so what is the... I'm not sure that the timeline of this makes sense. And so I ended up Googling it the other day during the show, and this is probably why I'm not taking it in, because I was like, so what is this based on? And because I think we'd said, Cap, you may have said that they've got the rights to the appendices. According to what I read, apparently they've got the rights to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and the appendices, but they have decided, now maybe I'm wrong on this, but this is what I genuinely read, maybe this was wrong, they decided that, you know, Lord of the Rings has been done, they're just going to focus on the Second Age. And so they've only got little bits of history about what supposedly happened in the Second Age, so they've decided just to fill in that gap and tell us what happened in the Second Age.
I'm not sure about that, because I think Amazon would jump at the chance to, like, use that IP. How much, like, here's the nostalgia moment.
But here's the thing.
Nostalgia moment.
But here's the thing. It's already out there, and they can't really top it in terms of what it looks like, because it's not. Even though it's 20 years old, it's not that old realistically, because it was so cutting edge, and the prosthetics and everything was so good. They couldn't. All they do is be remaking it. So if they're going to make this for like 5 years or something, then it could be like season 3 is the Fellowship of the Ring, and then they could, like, season 4, and they could build up to it. So they're probably like, if we start off in the Second Age to show how the rings were forged, then we get a bonus season without having to make a prequel like later on. They can start with the prequel and then build up, and a bunch of shows have done this, like the show Hannibal did it, whereas it was set before Silence of the Lambs and Manhunter. Bates Motel did it, Smallville did it, loads of things. Like, well, we can actually get, everyone's going to be waiting for the thing it's building up to that people are familiar with, so let's start before. It's just that they've made something that's quite boring and confusing, and it's not
in any way connected to the overcoming part of the books or the Peter Jackson films, because if you connect those two, it's not going to make sense. And you haven't seen Galadriel's husband in a while, but he's the main thing.
Galadriel has a husband.
Don't you remember the Lord of the Rings where they go? There's another dude next to Galadriel.
No, I've forgotten that.
Hugo Weaving, or
I don't know the actor, but Galadriel has a husband, and at this timeline in the books, she's pregnant.
Oh, wait, I thought this was in the timeline in the books. She hadn't been born yet, and that's one of the points of contention.
No. She is born, but she's pregnant, but on a different area. She's not actually in the plot in this story. She's basically doing the offhand work, being a political leader and stuff. not really doing what is currently happening. But this is the most hated thing. They turned orcs into vampires now.
Well, yeah, this is true.
My biggest question about Rings of Power is when do we get to see Smaug?
Never.
I just like to say Smaug.
It's a good word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm feeling rather desolate at his absence.
Yeah.
But here's the weirdest thing that I found about the show. So the Half-Foots, technically not hobbits, have the weirdest habit for a civilization. Apparently, they're a civilization that moves around, and if your caravan, for some reason, stops, the others won't stop. They'll just keep moving. It doesn't matter if you get eaten by the wolves or attacked by the orcs, or you just had a broken foot. They won't care. They would leave you, and they would just move on. So the reason why Frodo wasn't corrupted by the ring is because of his innate goodness. Hobbits are really innate good creatures, that Sauron's power was uncorruptible for them. But these assholes definitely getting corrupted because, like, oh, you've broken your foot. Bye-bye. We'll see you later.
But wait a minute.
They get killed by the wolves.
I thought they had explained that, like, these they're not hobbits, but aren't they like a sub race of hobbits or something? Like that's I think they explained
They're
that.
Half-Foots, like a subspecies.
Well, here's the other thing. This is set thousands of years before, like before the Hobbit. The technology and everything is exactly the same. The designs of what they're wearing and everything is exactly the same. They're saying that these civilizations had absolutely zero progress because it looks like deleted scenes from like pre-production of Lord of the Rings before they'd made it quite look that good.
There should be a lot of technology and a lot of pollution. There should be a lot of Smaug in the air.
Yes, Jimmy Mac, I like it.
The weirdest thing that someone pointed out that they had this big budget of production and the armor designs, they're just wearing textile chainmail. Basically, they're not wearing anything really metal. There's just a T-shirt that.
Hang on, Cap. I just need to check. Have you still only seen memes, or have you actually watched any of this?
No, this one I'm keeping a close eye on.
Okay.
Because, again, this is like one of the room
okay,
stuff because
so
it's really
look,
bad.
this is the way I see it. I think are we up to episode 5 or episode 6?
Episode 5.
So episode 5, they last about an hour each, give or take. They might be slightly more, they might be slightly less. In terms of Lord of the Rings content, if you were watching the trilogy, even the extended version, you'd at least be a quarter of the way through the Two Towers. And yet nothing has happened. It's so boring. It is so boring.
House of the Dragon is already in the 3rd generation. I mean, like, each episode, they're, like, passing time, like, in 3rd generation, and you can still keep up. But they're just, like, they're worse than snails.
Yeah, it's like really disappointing because I love the Lord of the Rings films. I understand that the Hobbit films aren't as good. I find them watchable enough.
Compared to this, they're like Shakespeare.
Well, do you know what? They're not bad. They're just. It was like it was a shame with the Hobbit films because when they had all this trouble to get it so they could make it. When they were going to make it, they then said we're going to make 2 films. And then part way through making it, they were like, screw it, let's make this 3 films. And so then the pacing is completely off. And obviously it wasn't the story isn't anywhere near as epic as The Lord of the Rings. So they had to try to make it more epic.
It wasn't meant to because like that was just a 1 book.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, the 2 Towers, and 3 books. But the thing with this, like, if they actually made it into a 1 film or 2 films, I think it would still left an impact because, like, I think when they started doing stuff that's not in the books, like, because they brought in Legolas, which he shouldn't be in the Hobbit at all, they just did it for fan service, and, like, bringing in these powerful characters. I mean, like, I literally saw a video of how it should have ended, where, you know, everyone is trying to hit Smaug. But if Legolas is there, he's the best archer there is. He can bring down anything. Just give him the black arrow. He's done.
Well,
that's how it should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't brought myself around to watch the Hobbit movies, even though I'm like one of the biggest fans of who plays Bilbo in those.
Martin Freeman.
Yeah, I love the actor. I've loved him since The Office, but I just can't watch The Hobbit.
Why can't you watch it? Why can't you watch it?
Just the production was so troubled, you know? Like, like, you look at Lord of the Rings and they're like, we did 30 years of pre-production or whatever, you know, and then The Hobbit, they were like, hey, we should make a Hobbit. Okay, Peter Jackson's like, I'm out. And then he's like, okay, let's make it. And then they just rushed him. I'm just like, and I've tried to read the novels, and they're just so dry. It's like trying to crack open a history book. I just haven't been able to do that either. Pinball table.
I would say that the Hobbit trilogy are worth a watch. They're entertaining, if a bit like they're a bit more. But they even said themselves that like the Hobbit is a children's book, and the Lord of the Rings was much more adult, and so they're a bit lighter in tone, and it is a bit jarring watching Lord of the Rings and then going to this. They are a bit lighter in tone.
For me, it was like a DLC. It was like a DLC for me, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
Like after watching the Lord of the Rings, you're like, you need something of the Lord of the Rings. Go for the Hobbit. It's a shame that it's a free film. That's the only shame.
Well, the thing that's a shame for me is that they clearly they may have had to do some reshoots or something, but they clearly tried to think, where can we split this film to make it like the end of the first film? And so the first one ends kind of on a little bit of a whimper. It's like it doesn't.
That's a mountain. That's the mountain.
It just doesn't have much like excitement. It's like, and the characters don't look that you know, they don't build up the characters to look good by the end of the film. The second one, it's all right. I have to be careful if you haven't seen it. I won't give the spoilers. And the third one, though, like the Battle of the Five Armies or whatever. Obviously, they were like, look, let's just make this Lord of the Rings by this stage.
Yeah, and I approve that because, like, one of the still things I like about The Hobbit is that the action is done so well. I sometimes, like, if I'm rewatching it, I don't care for the pacing, so I just skip to the fight scenes. And they're done really well. And Rings of Power, the fight scenes are crap.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things you said, David, is about the technology thing. So technically, you know, they're in Numenor, right?
Yeah.
So Numenor is meant to be like the last civilizations of men, where it's like the golden age of men, but Numenor falls, and that's why men kingdoms are separated, like Gondor, and then Rohan. But this was supposed to be the golden age of men, and these men are really powerful people. They're not ordinary men. They're meant to be a little bit stronger than ordinary men, faster, taller, and all that stuff. And the thing is that the plot that they're trying to go with doesn't make sense with their identity. I mean, they're trying to have So, how much you guys know the obvious villain in the story? How much you guys are aware of the obvious villain in the Rings of Power?
Well, it's Sauron, right?
Yeah, and do you know who that is currently?
Well, isn't that like the guy that everyone on the memes, to go with the memes, just said looks like Eminem?
No, not him.
Oh, is that not him?
That's apparently a woman, I think.
Well, there you go.
I watched the first episode, and I did like that Sauron's like little insignia that was like, you know, you would see it around, and it sort of looked like a skeletal hand giving like like the finger, which I enjoyed.
That's funny.
But the thing is that, like, their writing is also so bad. You know, they have the obvious line, like, why does the rock sink and the boat floats? Because the boat is looking up. What the hell are you saying?
Right.
Aye.
They're trying to be very epic, but clearly they have no idea what they're doing.
Other than the fact that by episode 5 they've had enough screen time to do the entirety of the Fellowship of the Ring and at least a quarter of the Two Towers, and that's if we're going on the extended cut. Despite any of that, the other thing that I think is worth remembering, at $58 million an episode, it cost them, for every 1 minute you watch, it cost them $1 million. And I haven't seen a single minute that is worth like 10 grand.
And I'll just say it again, I just cannot believe that the acting is so bad. It's out to me. Like I said last show, you don't need name actors. You need people who can act. And there's like 2 good actors on the show. It's crazy to me.
Who are the 2 good actors?
I like the black guy who plays the
elf.
Not Hobbit. Yeah,
non-Hobbit. Yes, non-Hobbit.
And Actually, there's a couple of the elves who I thought were doing all right.
Okay.
And the weird thing, these elves look old. I mean, they don't look, in a say, like ageless creatures who are supposed to live for thousands of years. They look old.
Well, except for the Doogie Howser guy.
Oh my God, that's Elrond. Think about it. That's Elrond.
Doesn't he look like he should be playing the Green Goblin?
Yeah.
His face kind of, he looks like the Green Goblin. He's just painted him green, and he's the Green Goblin.
Yeah. And the other thing I don't find insufferable about this is that, have you guys seen the fight scenes where Galadriel is teaching the Númenóreans and the other idiot is like, whoever beats or lays a sword on Galadriel is the new lieutenant. I mean, they're meant to be newbies. Like, again, this is me just holding too much on the action maybe, but the thing is that I feel like action tells stories as well. If you look at House of Dragons and fight things that they're doing, that actually increases your tension, that makes you invested. If the action is crap, and they're not actually doing anything by that, then it's just,
Well, okay, so that fight scene in particular, like, the thing about it, when I watched that, I was like, so you've got all of these other characters that are meant to become, like, useful or important characters, and she's embarrassing them. They're not like jerks, they're meant to be the next heroes, and she's making them look like fools. Also, she's coming across really arrogant. It's like, I don't like any of these characters. Those guys were losers. She was too up herself because she's like the trained one or whatever. And it's like, whose side am I meant to be on here? Am I meant to be on their side so that they're the underdogs evidently? Am I meant to be on her side that she's whipping them all? But she seemed too cocky with it. They all seemed like complete imbeciles. And so it was
she's supposed to be training them. Apparently, these guys have zero combat experience. And you know the basic lesson. So how do you kill an orc? You stab, you turn. That's what you do with the sword. Give us something useful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crush the head or remove the brain.
Well, especially if they're vampires. But on that note, speaking of vampires, Tim, say hello to the people.
Hi guys, how you doing? I am an energy vampire today, so can I tell you about all the things that are affecting me, and you can listen to it?
Yeah, go for it.
Hi, so I can't believe that the cashier took so much time at the CVS. I was really annoyed because I gave them a coupon that even though it was expired. I'm kidding.
I was so up for hearing what had happened.
Those
it was
receipts
expired.
took a really long time to print, man.
Yeah, and they told me to go forget myself, and I did for a minute, and then I got so angry that I turned into a green giant with purple pants, and now I can't go to a CVS anymore.
Hate when that happens.
So you were in She-Hulk?
Well, it's proprietary knowledge. I can't give away any contractual information, but there is a second season of something going on, and it stars Henry Cavill.
Are you going to play He-Hulk?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They just gave me some lines, and I forgot them already, so it's good. He-Hulk. That's a good one. Yeah, because I tell jokes and people go, hee, 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 hee.
Do you know, the thing that's disappointing for me is when because I didn't know this because I don't know the character. But when it turns out that He-Hulk, it's not He-Hulk. When it turns out the Hulk and She-Hulk are cousins, it's like, so they can't make a baby Hulk together because it's just too weird.
Oh, they did, David.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
No, they did.
Oh, no, they didn't.
They did. I actually took
not
a
Game of Thrones.
screenshot of a meme, which I haven't actually
Oh, a
shared
meme,
in
Cap.
the
What are you
battle.
talking about?
No, that's true. It happened in the comics. But so one of the things that happened in the comics is that this is like an Old Man Logan comic where the Hulk and She-Hulk get together and they have incest babies. To quote David, incest babies. And apparently they're like this hillbilly rednecks who like deformed Hulks. They go out and kill Wolverine's family, and then Wolverine comes back and then...
I'm going to use this as a segue, Cap, because obviously one of the big things that's happened this week is they've announced Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
They've announced Deadpool 3. And more like the thing that's completely overshadowed Deadpool 3 is Wolverine is joining the MCU.
Yeah. Wait, what? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cam.
So,
How have you not seen this?
No, I've seen that. I've seen Wolverine's coming back, but is it technically being in the MCU?
Yeah, like literally, they say about it's part of the MCU.
Because
They thanked Kevin Feige. They thanked Kevin
because
Feige.
like I saw a video where Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman talking, and they explained like the Logan happened, and it happens in 2029. So we're not going to change that.
No, but you can't take that. Look, that trailer was nonsense. Like, everything they said on that was just like.
I don't think
then
they will change
it cuts in
Logan.
with jitterbug, like jitterbug, right? So you can't take that as the proper source of information. But the fact is, it's produced by Marvel. This is an MCU film, but it's Deadpool 3.
Is bringing Wolverine back a good idea?
Yes.
Like, he's been playing that role for so long, since, what, 97, 99?
Like 2000,
No,
2000?
2003 or something.
No,
Okay,
it's earlier
so-
than that.
Okay, so he's been playing that role forever. He did some amazing movies. He did some terrible movies, and he finally had a really good swan song with Logan. Like, why not just leave it be? And by the way, why not bring in Danny DeVito for Deadpool
As who?
as Wolverine?
Now that I'd like to see. No, look, I understand that sometimes you can take something too far and you can tarnish an ending. But you could just not watch what came afterwards if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think what happened is they were like, bringing back Tobey Maguire worked. Let's bring back Wolverine. And actually, this is like, look, with the success of the previous Deadpool films and with like the goodwill that generally Ryan Reynolds has, it's like, well, this is probably going to do well. But because some of the recent Marvel films haven't done as well, it's like they need to bring something back. You know, go back to basics, do what works. Have a guaranteed hit in there, keep people's interest. They're building up to like more multiverse stuff. So like, give us Logan, give us more Patrick Stewart, give us more Ian McKellen. Don't ever use a new actor. By the time they've finished up, the CGI will be good enough. Let's never use a new actor again.
But here's the thing though, David. Currently, like, the Marvel's numbers are not looking good, just as you said, for the movies. And they definitely do need a win.
Yeah.
And also, Deadpool isn't a concern as well, because 2 Deadpool movies were produced by Fox. Now it's going to be produced by, technically, Disney. And it's been a shadow for many years. Everyone's expecting, oh no, Deadpool's not going to be Deadpool, because it's going to be Disney. So they do have a lot of goodwill. They would need everything that they can get. And Hugh Jackman will actually brings in the star power. But I do prefer someone else as well. Because I'm so afraid Disney's gonna mess it up, because they messed it up with Doctor Strange. They messed up with Thor. I think the chance is way too high, and the ending he did was up there. And the problem is, like, it's gonna tarnish his legacy.
Hey, look, man, like, I laughed my head off the first time I was watching something on Disney Plus, and it had an F word in it, and I was like, Disney just said the F word. I think they're smart enough, hopefully, that they'll stand out of the way. Look, Deadpool 2 wasn't as good as the first one. I really enjoyed Deadpool 2. It didn't quite live up to the first one. And I'm confident that if Deadpool 3 isn't as good, I don't think it'll be Disney's fault. But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I get it. I did get excited about the logo with the Wolverine slash across the logo.
Deadpool.
But man, I just want to let Hugh Jackman be, like, as far as Wolverine is concerned.
So who would you replace him with? Who
I'm not kidding. Like, we're in a post-irony society, and we're in a multiverse society. Danny fucking DeVito. Like, they talk about it online. Wouldn't wouldn't you lose your mind when you buy a ticket? Come on.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I think it would work, but the whole reason Hugh Jackman might come back is because of that sort of rivalry he has with Ryan Reynolds. You know, that's a pretty big selling point in some cases. Like, Ryan Reynolds brought Deadpool back because it was good enough character or lines in X-Men Origins Wolverine. You know, maybe that's bring Hugh Jackman in, but also have Danny DeVito show up. Like, that would be awesome. I don't know if that would work though.
No, it definitely wouldn't work. Like, the one thing we can be certain of is that it wouldn't work. On another level, though, it would work. But it's a case of, you know, just because they can do something and you get a laugh out of it. Sometimes my concern with the MCU is that they're leaning so much into the comedy, and they look. And so, even though they're bringing back Wolverine, and I'm pleased about that, with Iron Man's death, and then they did the series What If, where they had Iron Man in it and killed him every week, like Kenny from South Park. I was like, this is cheapening what they already did. Now, does this cheapen the end of Logan? Potentially. But it's not just, oh, actually, you know, we're bringing back Dexter 10 years later, like we are going to make another series or something. Because it's like, well, now it's the MCU, it's different, and this is an opportunity to suddenly have Wolverine, like, whatever they do in Deadpool 3 is one thing, but suddenly we'll have potential of Wolverine will pop up in the next Avengers film, and they'll probably do a multiverse thing, so there is another younger Wolverine, and whatever else. But so they can do this handing over thing, but it would, if he didn't come back and be part of the MCU ever, it'd always be like, oh, that was such a shame that just missed happening. So
can I just say though that I don't mind the comedic Marvel movies. I sat through Avengers Endgame. Like, I bought a ticket for every Avengers movie, and I was there every opening weekend because I didn't want them to get spoiled online. Those movies were so fucking tough to get through.
What?
And it's, come on, like, they were so long, and they just dragged on, and I'm like, okay, like, I get it. I'm done with those movies. Like, show me a Love and Thunder, show me a Ragnarok, and show me, by the way, Danny DeVito in the full getup. I want to see the yellow spandex. I can't sit through another Endgame, and I'm not kidding.
I agree with Jimmy Mack on the Ragnarok part. Ragnarok, I would say, is still a solid film. It had comedy, but it also had like slow down moments where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But Thor: Love and Thunder, no. Don't give me that. Just take it.
What was wrong with that movie? It was a fine movie.
Everything, Jimmy Mack. Everything.
I didn't mind.
We talked about Love and Thunder last week, I think, so I won't relitigate. But I enjoyed Love and Thunder.
I will relitigate. So like, I thought Love and Thunder was good. I don't mind it. I thought it was a big step down that they had a weaker cast. They also they lent too much into some silly stuff like the whole jealous hammer stuff like that. For me,
tell me about that because I don't remember that part.
You don't remember? It was like almost the entire film. So he's got Stormbreaker, and then Jane Foster has Mjolnir, and he's like, Mjolnir, come to me, come to daddy, sort of thing.
Okay,
and it goes to her. He's like, so you've got my hammer. And then, like, Stormbreaker just comes into the frame. He's like, we were just talking. And it's like, what are you doing? It's an object. It's a paperweight. What is this? It was, and he also, like, it was funny in a sense, but he literally rode Stormbreaker like a flying broom in Harry Potter. And it's like, at some point, you know, if the character's meant to be the god of thunder, you've pushed it a bit too far.
But look, in the comics, and I said this last week, Thor did not have the ability to fly. He would literally throw the hammer and then hang on to it.
But he says that in Ragnarok.
Ridiculous character.
Yeah, in Ragnarok he actually technically says that to Gorg. He's like, no, I can't just the hammer lift you off. No, I would just spin it off and the momentum would carry me wherever I want to please.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's an inherently ridiculous character, and we're arguing about the degrees of ridiculousness.
Yes.
Or Odin's.
Yes, this is important.
Yes, give it back. That's the whole point.
Okay,
that is the essence of Geek Battle.
Right. Are we excited generally overall for Deadpool 3 though?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what they do with it. Because also, and here's the other thing, Like, the first two Deadpool films were on a lower budget. There's no reason for this to be on a lower budget. Like, they made a joke in the second Deadpool film about, why there are only two X-Men around with Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, and Colossus. But there's no reason why they couldn't have tons of cameos and fun things. And for me, it'd be what they could do, because if it is going to be R-rated or whatever, like how you had the Simpsons Family Guy crossover, but technically it was a Family Guy episode, so they could push things a lot further than what a Simpsons episode could. It'd be like, imagine that you could suddenly have, Captain Carter and Scarlet Witch and Bucky turn up, and suddenly they can, be doing all kinds of fun stuff that they couldn't in other films. So I think this is a good opportunity.
I hope that they can film it sort of in the fashion that we saw with like the Defenders and the sort of the Netflix MCU thing, just so there's humor in it, but it still has like that grittiness.
Yeah,
I think that Deadpool 1 and 2 still had in a way, like they made fun of their, but there's still like that serious side of things. It's like, oh, your childhood was bad too. Yeah, mine was bad too. Let's joke about it. It's no problem. That I think being able to capture that essence and not have it be just an MCU comedy movie would be a good part too.
Yeah. So I've got a weird thing to talk about with Deadpool. So with the first movie, I don't know if you guys know about this at all, but they screened it in Utah, in Salt Lake City, at a theater called Broovies, and Broovies got into legal trouble with the Department of Alcohol Beverage Control because you could get a beer with your movie, and the government tried to say, oh, you guys are having an alcoholic beverage during a movie that depicts a sex act, so this violated some statute. So, like, everybody from the movie showed up. Ryan Reynolds showed up in Salt Lake City, did a benefit, sold T-shirts for the legal defense. Of course they won, because, of course, it was not only patently ridiculous, the lawsuit, but it was also, like, an obvious hit job. And then the marketing with the second movie seemed to attack Mormons specifically.
Did it?
I'm not kidding. Yes. There was one of the posters made fun of a Mormon painting called Christ the Redeemer that shows like Jesus coming back on Judgment Day and everything. So there's Deadpool in the white robes, like in this heavenly cloud setting, and there's everybody behind him and everything. It was pretty specific, and then within the movie there's some, again, fairly specific Mormon imagery within the movie that I just thought was insane. Like, I get that they're mad at Utah, but would Fox Studios do battle against a religion just because
That's so weird, yeah.
They were selling out at that point, so they don't technically care. I mean, at that time, they were selling it to Disney when Deadpool 2 was coming out, so they were like, fuck it, we'll just make fun of it.
Well, it was so specific and bizarre. And then I don't think Disney is going to do battle against the Mormons. With the marketing, it seems like they're making fun of Jurassic Park 3, because I think that was the logo for Jurassic Park 3 was the logo.
Oh yeah. You're right, actually.
Dino and it's crushed.
Yeah. But again, it's just a very weird thing that that I'll never get the answer to. But I wanted to just bandy about, I guess.
For me, the most hated thing about Fox and Disney merging is that they actually bought Blue Sky Studios as well, which, like the films like The Ice Age, those kind of films came from Blue Sky Studios, even Robots. So basically they bought Blue Sky Studios and they just shut it down. I was like so pissed at that, because the early 2000s they had like huge hits with Ice Age, Robots. Then Disney just like, okay, we're going to keep the property, but we're going to shut you down, and they just created a new Ice Age movie.
It's like Judge Doom and the cable car, man. Cloverfield bought the red car so they could dismantle it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I forgot to. I had something, I forgot what it was, so it's not important. That's all right.
That's not.
No, sorry, Tim.
No
Okay,
worries. We're all gonna talk them.
has anyone is there anything else that people have seen this week they want to react to?
House of the Dragon,
Go for it.
which is really, 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 really
Bless you.
good.
Do you know what? Hang on, this is more
Imagine
important, right? So Tim didn't want to hear about House of the Dragon, but then I think you went like this and caused yourself to sneeze. So you were like, la, la, like that, and it seemed like it just brought in like whatever you did here. It just like had a chain reaction.
No, you have to listen to this.
If it's like massive spoilers, like I haven't seen like 1 second of House of the Dragon, so like if we don't want spoilers, we can skip it. But if there's something non-spoilery,
without spoiling it, this is all I'll say. There's a training scene in the House of Dragon. There's a training scene in the Rings of Power, and you can see how the difference. That how you tell a story with action and how you not tell a story with action. There's a clear definition of this. And again, the thing with House of the Dragon is like every second counts. Every piece of dialogue that they talk about, and like it keeps you so sucked in. Like, and also it's kind of Game of Thrones, so they kill off characters pretty easily, and you're most invested in characters that you don't want to die, so you're going to be paying attention mostly. But again, the dialogue is so good when they're speaking of metaphors, not like the why does the rock sink and the bones float crab. No, they speak of actual good metaphors. Okay, you can say, okay, the writers earned their paycheck, and the actors still likable, even though they do questionable things. Things with Lord of the Rings, these characters are good characters, but they're terribly unlikable. But in Game of Thrones, every character is kind of morally, in the grey area, but still, they're pretty likable. I'm pretty invested in all the characters. Like Jimmy Mack, good acting. Most of them I don't even know who they are.
Here's one thing that killed me from the pilot episode. I know that sometimes they have like a prop, like a legit physical puppet dragon head, and then sometimes they don't. There's sometimes when they go up and pet a dragon and just you can tell their hand is just touching nothing, and I'm just like, how much does it cost to get a boom guy with a pad on a stick so you've got a solid object to pet when there's a dragon in frame? Just, put him in a green suit. I don't get it. Like, why do they sometimes... Why can you sometimes tell that there's nothing there? It's just... It's 2022. Give them a solid surface to pet.
yeah.
Probably they didn't have a budget.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, even with the lower budget, look at their armor designs. And compared to the t-shirt chainmail, that's really good. Comparatively. Again, they can make it a little bit more historically accurate, but other than that, it's really good.
Wait, you saying Lord of the Rings need to make it historically accurate?
No, I mean how... No,
Wait, House of the Dragon? Wait, what are you talking about historically? What universe is this set in?
The armor of knights.
What
That's
memes
what I
have
meant.
you seen, Cap?
Yeah, what memes are you referring to? There are dragons. How can it be historically accurate? This reminds me. I don't know if you guys know the story. You may or may not know this if you like how much you're into gaming. But one of the famous things from when the PlayStation 3 was revealed was there was the guy doing the presentation showing like some like game where it showed like samurais and something, and they were like, and this is based on actual battles from Japanese history. And then his next sentence was like, all right, here's the giant enemy crab. And it became this big meme where this giant, like, building-sized crab came on. Yeah, he was like, this is based on actual battles from Japanese history. Okay, here's the giant enemy crab. And this monster comes on. And so that's become a meme, which if you may come across it. If you haven't come across it before, you'll probably come across it at some point. But yeah,
I just wanted to be intensely geeky for a minute, though, and say that in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, they did the same thing with the armor. They had, like, this knit, these knit shirts to look like chainmail. And then, between that and, filming in, just really inclement rainy weather, it was quite miserable. But
that was like... That was years ago, and that was miserable, and probably they didn't have the budget as Amazon did.
My favourite chainmail ever is from the movie Commando, with the bad guy Bennett, and I've got him up here, and he is wearing a knit shirt, but it looks like chainmail.
Yeah,
And
it works.
he looks like a really beefy Freddie Mercury guy, as you can see, like the mustache and everything.
Yeah.
He's just like a beefy Freddie Mercury. But I love the idea because it's set in the real world in the 1980s. But there's if I was a villain, if I went out there to commit crimes, I would literally be wearing chainmail. You know, that's the way to do it. You want anyone to see you to know that you're the villain. There's no incognito there.
Was he singing Fighting Arnold thing? I will kill you.
Maybe. Do you know what? Just a moment of love for the movie Commando. It's probably the best film ever made. If you haven't seen it recently.
Rambo.
No, it is the best film ever made.
Arnold technically made it out of a day. Even Stallone mentioned it in an interview. It was like a thing that they did. When Stallone would make a movie, Arnie would make another movie. This even he said I made Rambo and he made Commando.
Yeah. Okay, anyone seen anything? Well, actually, hang on. That's kind of like Disney and Pixar. So one made Ants, the other made A Bug's Life. One made Shark Tale, the others made Finding Nemo. One made Shrek, the others made Monsters Inc. They've got every single one along the way has got like a comparative film.
One made Armageddon, the other made Deep Impact.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of ones like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think Armageddon was so much better, but, it's probably hyped up because it's a Jerry Bruckheimer film or something, and then did Michael Bay do something as well with it?
What was that? Which one was that?
Armageddon had Bruce Willis.
Oh, yes,
Ben
yeah.
Affleck,
And, yeah.
Liv Tyler?
Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck, Owen Wilson, Michael Clarke Duncan. Armageddon, what a film.
Yeah. Don't want to close my eyes.
Yeah.
Was that Michael Bay?
I don't know if it's Michael Bay, but I think there's a Bruckheimer behind it. There's definitely,
Yeah.
It did have.
We are going to drill an asteroid.
We're gonna drill an asteroid and put a nuke right up its drill hole.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I just read a really funny trivia fact about the movie The Rock.
Love that film too.
Where Michael Bay, it was his second film, and he's working with Sean Connery, and he was really nervous because I guess Sean Connery could be difficult on set. So after one of the takes, Michael Bay walks up to Sean Connery and he's like, "I'm sorry, Sean. Could you be less charming in the next take?" And Sean Connery just goes, "Of course, my boy." And I guess just after that, he always called Michael Bay my boy, and everything was cool after that.
Wow.
And that's such a funny note to have to give someone too.
Wow. So that is an interesting note. Yeah.
Can you be less charming?
Yeah, you know everything you've built yourself up to be over the last 50 years. Could you not do that in the next take?
But you're a leading actor and I'm the director, and the way that you're portraying this character doesn't fit with my style of direction.
Yeah.
That's an interesting. So his
isn't
product,
that the cast of Rings to Power God? Can you be less charming all the way?
Yeah.
Good setup. Yeah. Good setup.
Wow.
That's sort of. I can't remember who I heard it from, but one of my acting teachers was like, "Okay, there's two kinds of people who go into acting. There's true actors, and then there are personalities, and you could argue, say, Nick Cage is maybe a personality, although he does act, he can portray other people. But
I said Will Smith.
What's that? Yeah.
Will Smith is a personality.
And then Christopher Walken, he kind of shows up, and Christopher Walken's Jeff Goldblum shows up, and he blooms gold. So it's kind of a question of is that person a personality, or are they an actor? And if they're a personality, can they turn it on and off?
Yeah.
To some degree.
Usually,
when you look at Tom Brady's characters, The first character I remember him being is Shinzon from Star Trek. I forget. He plays Jean-Luc Picard's counterpart, and his history background is that he grew up in the mines as like a discarded orphan clone.
Who is this?
Yeah, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but just as a very strong fan of Star Trek, the movie that Tom Hardy was in never happened.
Okay, I'm just like we're talking about Tom Hardy's character selection.
Yeah.
He tends to pick as an actor people with traumatic backgrounds, and like that might be like his forte. Is that being an actor or is that being a character?
Yeah. Okay.
Like
before the moment has passed, I just want to say about Tom Hardy in Star Trek Nemesis. I didn't realize I didn't really know who Tom Hardy was until like he'd at least done Bane. And when I saw that he was Bane, and like then there was the whole thing about on the trailer who sounded like Kenny from South Park keeps coming up tonight. And then like so he had to redub it. And I was like, Christopher Nolan, they were like, because the complaints were they can't understand like his English accent or something, like miming, dubbing through the mask. And I feel like between Nolan and Hardy, they were like so pissed off. They're like, he can't understand my accent. And then my thought was, so like as a retaliation, he just did it the most Patrick Stewart way imaginable. And then it turns out he played Patrick Stewart in Star Trek. And I was like, you have my permission to die. And it's like, this whole time, it's like, number one, we will destroy you, Batman. And it's like, why is he trying to sound like a Shakespearean actor when he's Bane?
What a beautiful singing voice, Wesley.
Yeah, exactly. The whole time, it's like, there will be a considerable amount of pain for you. And it's just like, why are you trying to sound like Patrick Stewart? And then it turns out, it was just like, I'll just do what I did in Star Trek.
Make it so, Talia Al Ghul.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree that Nemesis was kind of like, oh, this is dialed in. Like, I don't. But the fact that I saw, recognized, that's Tom Hardy, like really young.
Yeah.
And then you see him like pick characters of all different sorts where it's like, yeah, my childhood was shit. Like, okay, that is he picking a character theme, I guess? Or is he acting?
It's funny, I have similar feelings about Star Trek Nemesis as I do about X-Men The Last Stand, which are both Patrick Stewart movies. I was watching The Last Stand and I'm like, okay, this movie sucks, but like they're racking up a body count, a bunch of characters die, and at the end, whoops, they take it back and nobody died or lost their mutant powers. So I'm watching Star Trek Nemesis and I was like, okay, like this is not a great movie, but man, they just killed Data. Whoops, no they didn't. He's got his clone there, and they can back up his personality. Like, neither movie meant a thing,
But here's the thing though, Jimmy Mac. I didn't know that X-Men The Last Stand was a bad movie, because at that time I was not...
Because you hadn't seen a meme that said it.
Yeah, I mean, that time the memes were not that of a big of a thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was a genuine good movie, and I thought it was a genuine good ending to the film. And mainly, I loved the fight scenes. The last fight scene was awesome. The X-Men's like going out with thousands of mutants, and like finally Storm is doing stuff, and then Colossus didn't do much, but like, I'm a juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, no. First off, no. The Juggernaut, and I love Vinnie Jones. The Juggernaut was really stupid in X-Men 3.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you even know who Vinnie Jones is.
No, I love Vinnie Jones. He did, was it Snatch or Lockstock?
Lockstock.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair.
So,
he's a football
player.
player.
60 Seconds, one of the best.
Yeah, but he's like an English football player, and somehow he ended up in like Hollywood action films.
Yeah, it's wild. Follow your dreams, kids. But no, look, X-Men 3. What's a fight if there are no stakes? What's a fight if nobody loses? There were no stakes. Nobody lost their mutant powers, and nobody died. Why?
That's true though. The last ending where Magneto's playing with the chessboard, and then the powers didn't the cure is not a thing, and I was genuinely like, okay, so that was all for nothing. But here's the thing, Jimmy Mac. I didn't technically go to that part when I first saw the film. I Because that was an end credit scene, I believe, at the end where Ian McKellen does the thing and the chessboard moves. So after the fight scene ended, I ended to stop the movie watching when Wolverine goes outside and they just cut away to the X-Men school now. And that's when I thought, okay, most of the people are dead, now the characters have grown up, and they're taking the position. Storm is now the head of the Institute, as she should be, and Wolverine's finally found a home. He's not going to leave. He's going to be a responsible teacher, or did what Charles Xavier did to him to other mutants. But yeah, I would agree that the last thing ruined everything because, like, yeah, the stakes were like, eh, and then Charles also comes back in Wolverine, the other films. I think if they closed it with the third film and they did Logan, that would have been perfect. That, like, the whole thing. But again, they kept going on and they wanted to make more sequels. That's why they did the Magnet thing, and that's how the film is completely ruined.
Agreed.
Yeah. Right, guys, let's play a guessing game. So, yeah, because we're going to run out of time soon.
What were the results of the last guessing game?
It was sliders. I can't remember. Right, so I have no idea. I don't even remember what we were trying to guess. So anyway, I will tell you just because I'm going to forget otherwise. I will tell you if we don't get it. If we don't achieve, then you will find out by hell or high water. Now, Capelthave, you can go first. What would you like to guess? Would you like a movie, TV show, a video game, or a book?
A movie.
Okay, so you're going to have to wait a second. It's not loaded. And so my random generator has let me down. Come on, David, you can do this.
And I'm sorry, Cap, did you say movie?
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Almost there. In fact, so I know what I can do. I'll grab one off the screen if it's not. Silly internet. Okay, it's almost loaded.
Is that your app, David?
It is, but this isn't the app version.
App.
No, damn it. Right, this is the website version. So if you go to extreme.tv/suggestions, just that I've got like bad Wi-Fi at the moment.
You know I'm playing with you, man.
No, it hurts. Right, no.
All of that development in the software.
Yeah. Right. Okay. But you can get it for Android and then it will work. And I literally went to get it on Android, but like I haven't charged my Android phone. So that's my fault.
Oh my god, you iPhone people.
No, I've got an Android and an iPhone. Right. So anyway.
Sure.
Anyway, so Cap, you wanted a movie. I've got a movie for you. You've got 1 minute to ask as many questions as you can. Yes or no based questions. And here you go.
Is it an 80s film?
No.
90s film?
No.
2000 film?
I think so.
2000 to 2010?
Yeah, I think so, or a shade after, but I think 2000 to 2010.
Is it a superhero movie?
No.
Is it a fantasy movie?
No.
Is it a sci-fi?
Ish, but not really.
Oh no. Sci-fi-ish. Is there time travel?
No.
It doesn't take place in space?
No.
It has any major stars playing in it?
Yeah?
Was the film a series?
Yes, it was part of a series.
Was it a trilogy?
No.
More films?
No.
So just 2 films.
Okay, yes, I'll say, but that is time. Tim, handing over to you. And here you go.
So is it sci-fi?
It is sci-fi, but that isn't what you'd call it first.
Does it take place in the modern day?
Yes.
It's a 2-part movie series?
Yes.
But there's 8... there are 8 things for it?
8 things? Sorry, I haven't understood that.
It's a series of 8 episodes?
No.
For a miniseries?
No, there are 2.
Okay. Is the main protagonist a male?
Debatable. Technically, no.
Is there a team?
Not really.
Is it? Is it superheroes?
No.
Is there aliens in it?
No.
Was it directed by a famous director?
Possibly, I don't know, to be honest. Right, okay,
Okay.
that is time, I'm afraid, Tim. Jimmy Mac, handing over to you, and here you go.
Is the main character a robot?
No.
Are they human?
Yes.
Oh man, okay. Is there like a main antagonist in the film?
No, not really.
So is it a man versus nature? Would you say?
No, not especially.
Is it a musical?
No.
Is it aimed toward children?
No.
Oh man,
Mm.
these are such weird clues.
Yeah.
Is there an animal that's part of the cast?
Not that I can remember.
If there were animals, would they have the ability to speak?
No.
Sorry. Is it live action?
Yes.
Is there a lot of CG in it?
Not especially, no. Right, that is time. That is time. Guys, you didn't get it. I'm going to hold this one back. I'm holding this one back. I don't care what I said.
No!
I'm holding it back. Right.
No.
Or, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to implement a new rule. I'm going to give you 1 more minute between all 3 of you. Okay, this new rule. Last ditch attempt. All 3 of you, 1 more minute, begin.
We're not going to get it.
It doesn't have a male protagonist, or a female one, or a creature one.
8 seconds have gone. No one has asked me a question.
But they are human. They're genderless humans.
Oh,
I didn't say they were
so-
genderless.
You said they were neither male nor female.
No, I didn't.
No, you said ish. Is there a male
Is it a male
protagonist? Where you go,
No,
ish?
that just means that it's not... Right, I'm stopping the timer for a second, just to clarify this point.
Okay, he said their skin is blue.
No,
and
I
that they
didn't.
have
Right.
the power of flight.
This wasn't like a question over ish about the gender. It's that the question, the ish bit, is about who is the main character.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So, okay, ready? I'm going to give you 1 minute. Here we go. Let's see if we can do this. Go.
Does the main character identify as male?
No.
Do they identify as female?
I get... This is the same point. I'm going to stop the timer again. Right, the point is... It's debatable who the main character is. There is a male character, there is a female character. It's hard to really pinpoint who the main character is. That's where I've been ish. Ready? Here we go. Go!
That's why Tim asked that if they're a team.
4 seconds gone.
A team of 2.
There's no villain.
Yes, there are. I didn't say there was no villain either.
Damn it.
I swear I asked if there was a... Did I not... Oh,
Yeah,
I
there
asked
isn't
if
a
there was
main villain.
Is it Avengers?
No.
Is it sci-fi / romance?
It's not sci-fi / romance.
Are
Is
there
it a quiet
clowns?
Oh, say that, Tim?
Is it A Quiet Place?
No, it's not A Quiet Place.
That's a good
But
guess.
close, I think. David flinched.
Is the team bilingual?
No.
Okay. Throwing that out there for no reason.
Is it Dread?
No, it's not. And that is time. Damn it, I'm putting this one on the internet. Right.
No, tell us, David. You're gonna forget it.
No, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down right now.
Do they have chairs in the movie?
Do they have chairs in the movie?
Yes.
I can't actually remember chairs in the film. Right. Okay, Tim, what would you like?
Me?
Yeah.
Give me a book.
Oh my god. Right, okay. Jesus. Okay, I've got a book here, but I need to find out the information about it.
All right, never mind. Give me a...
No. This is a book. I'll go for the book. I need to look up the details with every book that I get. I've definitely heard of it. Okay. Oh my gosh.
We have to wait for him to learn to read.
I need to. Yeah. Okay. So Tim, here you go.
All right. Is it a book that's probably longer than 500 pages?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, it's less. It's less. It's less.
It has less. Does it have pictures in it normally?
No.
Perfect. That rules out comic books. Is it written after World War II?
Yes.
Damn. Is it science fiction?
No.
Is it fantasy?
No.
Is it written by Kurt Vonnegut?
No.
He's my favorite author. Is it? Is there a main Is there a single main protagonist?
There's a couple of main characters, just to give you that, just to cut through some of it.
There's a couple. Does it take place in modern day?
For when it was written, yes.
Okay.
That is time, I'm afraid. Jimmy Mac, handing over to you. And here you go.
Is it horror?
No.
Is it aimed at children?
No.
Does Vinnie Jones... Is it written by Vinnie Jones?
No.
Okay. Is it, Is the main character male?
There's one of
the main
each. One of
character
each.
debate.
One of each.
Okay, is it by Stephen King?
No.
Michael Crichton?
No.
Dean Koontz?
You're not going to get it this way.
Shoot. Man, I'm really blanking. Is there a courtroom setting?
Not that I know of, but it's not impossible, based on what I know.
Okay.
Okay, that's time, I'm afraid. Cap, it will hand over to you. Go.
Great. Is it a detective novel?
No, it's not a detective novel.
Damn it. Is it a children's book?
No.
Is it romance?
Yes.
Clue, Sherlock. Romance. Damn it.
Right.
Is it after World War II? Romance. Is the book adapted into a film?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it a part of pop culture?
To a degree.
To a degree, then definitely no. Is it are the couples famous like Romeo and Juliet?
Not like Romeo and Juliet.
What else? Is it Titanic?
No, it's not Titanic. That is time. Look, I'm going to go with the same principle, guys. The clues have been in fact, you're a long way away. 1 more minute altogether. Let's see what we can go. Go.
Is it by Ian Fleming?
No,
Oh.
You say it's not by Stephen King?
it's not by Stephen King.
Okay.
It's romance. It's romance.
Well, no, he said there was like romance in it. I think.
Then what genre is this? It's not sci-fi.
It's a book genre. It's a book.
It's a book genre.
It's got words. Does the book have
Was
words?
it originally written in English?
Possibly not. Possibly not.
Is it Mahabharata?
Does it have food in it?
I couldn't tell you. Probably.
Okay.
Is it part of a series?
I hope not.
Oh.
Is it Bridge to Terabithia?
No.
Not that old, but I hope it was that.
This is tough. We have to get some bibliophiles to figure this out.
Is the author female?
No.
Male. It's a did the book come out in the? It's after World War, so is it the 60s?
No.
50s?
Yes.
Oh, it's a 15th century book. Is anyone alive in the 15th century, guys?
What?
No, sorry. Confused it. Sorry, 1950s.
In the 15th century of the 1900s.
And that is
Jimmy, I
time.
like the 15th century, okay?
Guys, at that note, if we're in the 15th century, we're never going to get it. Okay, that is time. I don't know. Shall I give you this guy? Shall I give you this one or not?
Yes,
Please,
please.
please.
I'll tell you.
It's,
And you'll understand why I was like romance. It's Lolita.
Oh,
Yeah, so romance, kind of no, but in a very warped way.
I've
Never
never
heard
read
of it.
that book, and I'm probably happy I haven't, but I
Yeah.
should probably.
It's a
At least
famous
read
book.
some.
It's a very famous book.
Never heard of it.
Well, anyway, we won't go into the plot here. Right.
Interesting fact, though. American Beauty could be argued to be, a modern day Lolita for, for the 2000s.
Spacey.
And Kevin Spacey's character, Lester Burnham, his name is an anagram for Humbert Learns.
Ah, how about that?
Yep.
Well, on that note, Jimmy Mac, what would you like to guess?
Let's go TV show since we haven't yet.
Oh, thank God. Right, okay, let's see what we get here.
We haven't guessed one.
Okay, Shall I go for that one, or shall I see if there's... Yeah, I think I'm going to go for... Okay, I've got it. Okay, Jimmy Mac, your time starts now.
Is it Sliders?
No.
Is it sci-fi?
Yes.
Does it take place primarily in outer space?
Not... sometimes not.
Okay.
Arguably, yes. Arguably, yes.
Okay. Is there a main protagonist?
Yes.
Do they identify as male?
Sometimes.
Oh, no.
You're gonna be like, it's Picard. Okay. Do they? Okay. Okay. Does it take place in the future?
Sometimes.
Is there time travel?
What?
Yes.
Is it part of the Terminator series?
No.
Is it part of Battlestar Galactica?
Oh, no, and that is time, I'm afraid. Capelthave, handing over to you, and here you go.
I completely blacked out of all of Jimmy Mac's questions. Is this the series?
Is it a series?
Yes.
Yes, it's a TV series.
Did it come out in the 2000s?
Some of it did.
Some of it did. So did it start in the 90s?
No.
Did it start... Some of it came out in the 2000s. So did it come out in 2010?
Some of it did, yeah. Like, it still existed then.
Does it still going? Is
Yes.
it still going?
Yes.
Wow. Is it a soap opera?
No.
Is it Star Trek?
No.
Is it Star Wars?
No.
Is it sci-fi?
Yes.
It has time travel, sci-fi, and it's a series. Is it an animated show?
No.
So there's so Rick and
That is
Morty.
time. That is time. Tim, handing over
Is
to
it
you.
Doctor Who?
Yes, it is! Yes, it is! Before I'd started the timer.
What?
Well done, Tim.
That was too easy. I was like, this
Boom.
is not going to be it.
I'm
This is
awarding
too
you
easy.
3 golden points for that, Tim. So, with that, I can confirm. Tim, you are this week's Geek of the Week. Well done.
Thanks.
So, what? That is extraordinary. You guessed it before I'd even got to the timer. But yes, it was Doctor Who. Doctor Who, as it came up there. So, let's find out where we can find everyone on social media. In a few minutes, audience will have Extreme Improv extremed. But for now, Commander Jimmy Mac, where can the people find you?
You can find me doing the jitterbug. A jitterbug. You gotta bang bang in my house.
Okay, Capelthave, where can the people find you?
You can find me in Sword D's where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. And recently, I've been doing shorts, so MMA/cartoon all together combined. Made some funny videos, and also made some penguins of Madagascar, and I just cut them down to shorts actually. So it's an easy way to gobble it, I would say. So check me out on Sword D. It's also numerous shows of Extreme Improv.
Awesome, fantastic. My name is David Pstansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pstansky. You can also get a Geek Battle mug. Let's go to extreme.tv where you'll be able to find out all about that, because I know you're going to be rushing to do that now. But Tim, our Geek of the Week, where can the people find you?
Hey, you can find me in Warwick, Rhode Island with Bring Your Own Improv in New York City at the Armory Barracks on every second Monday. The next one was the 26th, I think. Beginning of November, I'll be doing some improv inside the city, and also just Instagram is Timothy Killalay. Try and spell that. Thanks for doing this, David. This was so much fun.
Awesome. No, thank you all, and until next time, audience, stay safe, always stay extreme, live